Many businesses begin their cloud journey by adopting cloud computing with virtual machines. It's easier than ever to lift and shift your VMs from on-premises to platforms like Microsoft Azure. And once those machines are there, they remain just as critical to your business. Hi, I'm Michael from Veeam. In this demo, I'll show you just how simple it is to protect those IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service virtual machines within Microsoft Azure. We'll also take a closer look at the granular restore options available within Veeam Backup for Microsoft Azure. So let's start at our overviews page. And as you can see here, I'm going to come back to that bell and that notification about updates in a later video. So we went through our configuration in the last steps, and the final thing that we had to do was create this backup policy, and we could do that across multiple workloads within the public cloud. In this video, in this particular demo, we're going to create a backup for our virtual machines. Very wizard-driven approach. Give it some name that's relevant, obviously, to the backup. We're going to choose the account that has the access to be able to have the sufficient permissions to achieve that backup. We choose the regions. Now, you could select all of those and push those over. I'm using the UK South. And then select the resources. Now, we could just go through one by one. You can see here I have 4 VMs. I have a VBR server actually living up here. And I can add them individually in this way, which is not going to scale if you've got 1,000 VMs. So what we can do that based on subscription, the resource group, as well as tag. So I've actually tagged all of these resources under that same key. So in theory, I could do it either way. You've got a mix and match of that, and we can say all resources as well. So we've chosen what our source is. We're then going to choose whether we want to provide application-aware snapshots or any guest scripting. We might want to tag the snapshots, and we definitely want to enable those backups to go off into that object storage location that we previously created. From a scheduling point of view, or the frequency, is what does that schedule look like? I'm going to say I want this to happen from a snapshot and backup perspective at 8 PM every day. I want to keep 7 snapshots. And I want to keep them for 7 days. And then the repository, I want to keep it on the hot storage. And you can see in the top right hand corner that we're actually keeping an eye on the estimated cost there as well. Then we can do weekly retention, monthly retention. And then we can say, okay, how many times do you want to try that, as well as a health check on the status of that backup. Finally, we get a cost estimation based on all of those things that we've suggested. And it's going to say this is going to cost this much because you're keeping this amount of backups. It's then going to give you a summary of what that backup job looks like, or what that policy looks like, and then creates that. Now that would, in theory, run at 8 PM. Let's bring that forward. Let's run one now. I am going to speed things up, but ultimately we are going to run through a snapshot and a backup, or that whole policy. And if we click on these, you'll see what happens here is we're going to create a worker dynamically. If you remember in the previous demo, we didn't have a worker, we didn't create it, we didn't actually apply that. So what this will actually do is go and dynamically deploy that worker node that is going to go and lift and shift that data from our snapshot into our backup repository. So you can see here, we're waiting for that worker to process that demo for the backup job in particular. So if we go over to our configuration, we go and look at our workers, you'll see dynamically we've deployed this new worker into our subscription based on what we need. So as you can see, we've sped through this backup job. It doesn't take long. There's not much going on in there. And then after that, so everything's successful under our protected data, and we'll see a common theme here across all of the different workloads that we protect. We have the ability to do some restore capabilities within that. So VM restore, disk restore, or file level recovery. Now that file level recovery is basically how and where are we going to mount that so that we have access to the underpinning operating system and the files within. So if we take a look at that, it's now going to mount that file system Now, this could be Windows, it could be Linux. We've got the ability to mount both. And if we scroll over, we should have a link to our FLR, and that's going to bring up a URL that allows us to gain access to that. Again, you can set that certificate on the main configuration page so that you don't have this horrible warning. And then from there, you can see that we have 2 disks associated to our virtual machine that we've protected. And in there, we can go into the file structure. If we did have any data in here, clearly we could go and grab that data. I'm going to use the bash config. We're going to add that to our restore list, and that, like a shopping list, it adds it to this list here. And from there, we can have the restore capabilities of being able to get those granular files for that particular machine, and we can download them here as well. And what you could have seen if we'd have gone in and selected multiple virtual machines, we could do that across multiple machines. Now, in the overview page here, you'll see that we have a running now for that file level recovery. Let's stop it. But equally, in that overview page, it now gives you a summary of what's going on in your environment. And there you have it. It's that simple to start protecting your IaaS workloads in Microsoft Azure. Even when the unexpected happens, you can have peace of mind knowing you can recover exactly what you need when you need it, with Veeam's granular restore capabilities. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.